In the summer of 1983, the echoing roar of King's Dominion's Galaxy roller coaster began to fade. Tucked in the heart of the park's Candy Apple Grove section, Galaxy had thrilled riders since opening year of 1975 with its compact turns and retro steel frame charm. But as King's Dominion grew, so did its ambitions. Guests who had once lined up for Galaxy would experience something bold, daring, and never before seen in Virginia. By the fall of 1983, the park quietly announced Galaxy's closure after a major accident. On its final day, longtime fans took one last ride, holding tight to memories of sudden drops and laughter that echoed through the grove. Galaxy would soon be dismantled to make room for a cutting-edge experience, only to arrive years later. It's the summer of 1984. The gates open to another thrilling season, but something new is shaking things up on International Street. Introducing the Berserker, a looping Viking ship that flew riders high into the air and flipped them full rotation 2 times. A scream-worthy addition that had guests lining up all day long. And towards the back of the park, deep in the Lost World, something magical stirs. Smurf Mountain makes its colorful debut, a family-friendly adventure through winding caverns, glowing mushrooms, and the cheerful blue world of the Smurfs. Kids and parents alike couldn't get enough. Fast forward to 1985. It's a splashy new year, and King's Dominion is doubling down on thrills and family fun. Just beyond the Eiffel Tower, Diamond Falls crashes onto the scene in Safari Village. A massive water plunge ride sending guests flying down a 50-foot steep double drop into a giant splashdown, amongst guests standing on the observation bridge just to get soaked. For the little ones, Scooby's Olympic Park becomes their kingdom. Slides and colorful fun all wrapped in one, which was adjacent to Hanna-Barbera Land. It was a hit for families looking to slow things down. But little did guests know, a new kind of coaster was on the horizon. While Galaxy was standing but not operating for one season, and finally removed in 1985, in 1986, a revolutionary ride would change the skyline of King's Dominion for nearly 30 years. Stand by for Shockwave, Virginia's only stand-up roller coaster. King's Dominion was more than a park. It was becoming a legend. On March 23, 1986, Shockwave, a revolutionary stand-up roller coaster designed by Togo, officially opened to the public. It was the first stand-up coaster on the East Coast, and only the second of its kind in the U.S. With its dark blue and yellow color scheme and towering 95-foot lift hill, Shockwave became an instant icon. Riders stood upright, strapped in with over-the-shoulder restraints as they plunged into vertical loop, a massive helix which threw riders completely sideways, and sudden dips before hitting the loud brake run. It was creating a totally new thrill sensation amongst all ages. The cost of this innovation? $4 million, a massive investment at the time, signaling the park's commitment to next-level thrills. Shockwave quickly became the talk of the region, and for many the symbol of a new era at King's Dominion. The station design was known for having a floor that was not leveled, which tilted down toward the front, where they entered the lift hill. This eliminated the need to propel trains as they dispatched from the station, instead relying on gravity to roll out of the station. On opening day, its wait times were 2.5 hours long. This was one of the 2 stand-up coasters named Shockwave to open that year, with the other one being at Six Flags Magic Mountain, which opened 2 months later on May 16th. As the 90s rolled on, King's Dominion changed. The park shifted ownership, from Taft Broadcasting to Paramount Parks in 1993. New state-of-the-art attractions, such as Days of Thunder, Flight of Fear, Tomb Raider Firefall and Volcano. The Blast Coaster brought movie-themed thrills throughout the years, but Shockwave remained even as newer, innovative rides overshadowed it. On the evening of August 23, 1999, tragedy strikes. A 20-year-old man was thrown from the train's final turn at a speed of 40 miles per hour, sustaining a fatal head injury upon contact with the steel walkway. Shockwave and 2 similar rides at other Paramount amusement parks were immediately closed. The event was originally reported as an accident resulted in the death of one park visitor, but further investigation proved otherwise. Bolstered by numerous eyewitness accounts, the cause was later attributed to the victim's disregard of park safety rules, as he was seen intentionally freeing himself from restraints. In addition, an inspection found the safety restraints to be working properly at the time of the accident. Shockwave was reopened 3 days later on August 26, 1999. For the park's 25th anniversary in 2000, the entire ride was painted in non-standard scheme, neon colors. The superstructure and main rail were painted periwinkle, with the running rails alternating patches of aquamarine and orange. The trains were repainted orange, and the station in the same neon colors as the track. In 2011, Shockwave was repainted electric green for the tracks and teal for the supports. Shockwave, the heartbeat of Candy Apple Grove, continued to stand tall over the next 15 years. But as time went on, its ridership declined, and the era of stand-up coasters began to fade into the past. Plus, the closure of Togo's American offices in 2001 made getting spare parts much harder and expensive. On July 9, 2015, the announcement came: it's time to say goodbye to the oldest operating stand-up coaster in the US. On August 9th, fans gathered for one last thrill. Tears, cheers, and photos marked the end of an era. After Shockwave's closure, the decision to dismantle the ride for scrap metal was made. However, the trains were preserved as a tribute, saved for future generations to remember this stand-up classic. Though Galaxy faded into the park's past, it paved the way for Shockwave's legacy, which would carry forward for nearly 3 decades. But for those who rode Galaxy's last lap and stood in awe on Shockwave's opening and last day, the memories still ride high. 29 years of standing room only.